So in this video, I want to talk about a few things. The reason why I moved into a shop after 5 years, the difference between working from a home or having your own shop, and one of the major things that I want to do in this place now that I have a shop. So stay tuned, hang out with me, and check it out. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is Wayne from Fade to Black. It is 2023. I hope everyone is off to an awesome new year, a new start to the year. Man, as the world goes, things keep changing, right? You gotta take the good and bad, roll with it, and keep on going. If you're new to the channel, my name is Wayne, Fade to Black. I offer window tinting. I have my own business doing it. Doing it for many years. I would say maybe around 6 as a side business, and then 5 years full time. So things have been changing. You know, I like to show you guys a lot of installs. I like to focus on full windshields and stuff like that. But in this video, there's been some changes. So I kind of want to give you guys some info, give you guys some updates on kind of what's been going on. And you've seen some of the videos previously. They were in a shop type building. They're in a home type building. But now I am in a shop. So I'm going to talk to you guys about why I moved into a shop, some of the good and the bad things about being in a shop, and one of the major things I plan on doing with this shop. So, number one, why I moved into a shop? Well, in October of 2021, I got divorced. So as I was working out of the home shop and having customers come to the home shop, which was pretty much my garage, I worked out of that. I used it. I ran with it for many, many years. You know, I would try to book little front matches and things like that quickly on the afternoons, and then I would do full cars on the weekends. So when I did full cars, I was pretty much doing them in the middle of the night, early in the morning, or late at night. So after a long day of doing something else, usually on the weekends, it was running with kids and tournaments and stuff like that. I would try to get up early in the morning or late at night and stay up and do a car, because a full sedan probably would take about a couple hours to do. Now, over the years, I have gotten a little bit faster with that, but for the most part, I always try to book off like 2 hours for a full sedan. So I didn't generally want to do that during the day while, you know, kids and different things had to go places. So I always would do them at night. So that means I would have to be up in the middle of the night, like I said earlier, to try to get those cars done. So I always did that to try to make sure I didn't kind of interfere with family time. Kids had tournaments, we had to go out of town, different things like that. So I was doing the full cars, and the customer would pick them up, they drop them off, I would do them. I never really did full cars as a customer waited, because I knew it would take a good amount of time. So I did have a shop across the driveway. I could turn the heat on. I had a little waiting area in there for them. And I generally would do cars inside of the attached house garage. Now, the shop was not insulated. It was a metal building, and it would be very, very cold in the wintertime. So in the summertime, I had the sun shining on the roof. It would be super hot. It was kind of uncomfortable to work over there as well. But now you know some of the things of working out of a home garage. I had our own personal vehicles in there, kids' personal things. So that was a little bit of a challenge as well. I always move one vehicle out and I would move the customer vehicle in. So, you know, I'd always be fearful. You wanted to make sure you didn't have kids or anyone walking past customer vehicles. But luckily, I never really had any issues with that. But as I mentioned earlier, I got divorced. So when you get divorced, things change, right? So I ended up moving out in June of 2022. I realized I could not be going back to the house, back to the property, with tension and things like that started to arise. I just knew it just wouldn't be a good thing to do. So I reached out to a good buddy in town here in Marshfield. I asked him about what he knew, what he had available. He found this building, and then boom, he helped me. He had a vision. We made it happen. Now, this building is actually attached to another building. It goes way back. So I haven't shown you guys a 100% tour of the shop yet. I'll do that coming up, but I kind of wanted to get this video out to kind of let you guys know of the update and kind of what's been going on. When we found this building, we painted all the walls, we painted the ceiling, we cleaned it up. There's still a lot more to do, so I'll kind of give you an update on that video probably next. We had to cut a hole in the wall, so it took a while to get things set up to be able to start to use the building. Now, there's still a lot more I'd like to do in here, but you gotta get started. You gotta kind of hit the ground and move and do what you can do with what you got, right? So I've been working out of the building for the past few months. It's winter, so that's kind of good because it's not as busy right now. So I have had time to come in here and make changes. There's a lot of other things I would like to do, but you know, baby steps, right? We gotta walk before we can run, and we're just working on things little by little and trying to get certain things done. But I am in the building, I am in the shop. It does feel amazing, so I'm enjoying having my own space with plenty of room to stretch out, and in the future, plenty of room for other projects, but we'll get to that later in the video. Now, thankfully, where I moved out from the property is only 9 minutes away. So I can shoot right over here. I can be here in a few minutes. Usually I don't sit here all day. I kind of come in here, I get things done, I clean up, I work on some things, then I might go home or I might run errands. So that has been pretty cool because like this isn't a huge town, so I can kind of scoot around and do what I gotta do. And like I said, thankfully I only live less than 10 minutes away. I can just shoot over and get things done. My kid's school is about 5 minutes away, so I'm kind of right in between that. I'm right next to downtown, so it works out really well for me. So now let's talk about some of the things of working out of a home, working out of a shop. Now, being at a home, I took full advantage of it. It worked really good. As I mentioned before, I worked out of the attached garage, so any time of the day if I had a car sitting there or depending on what was going on, I could just go out in the garage, knock the car out. I was at home. If my kids needed something, it worked out really well. You know, the customers would come to me, they would drop it off. I didn't really have any neighbors, so that worked out really good too. I was out in the country, so I could actually have the car outside waiting for a customer or something. So that worked out really well. Also, yeah, you saved some money, right? Because I didn't have all the bills like the rent and the lease and utilities and all the things like that. So I was kind of saving on that at the time as well. But you gotta realize when you're doing that out of your home, yeah, you could have a little bit more money because you're not spending so much on the utilities and all the extra things of having your own standalone building, right? So I saved in that respect. But as I mentioned, things changed, so I couldn't work out of that space anymore. So I had to get another standalone shop. It was nice. I never really had any problems. Everyone kind of respected that it was at my home. I really didn't have too many just random people stopping by because my business is pretty much ran by appointment when it was at the house. So I never had any issues with that. Everyone kind of respected everything. I never had any problems, you know, otherwise. And, you know, it worked out really well, you know. I had a little dog at the time. He would always run up and greet people and stuff like that. So that worked out fine. You know, like I said, I took and used it as best as I could for what I had at the time. Now, moving into a shop, yes, now I got all the extra added expenses. You know, you got the shop rent, you got the insurance, you got the utilities you gotta pay, all the other bills you have to acquire, internet, phone, or just different things like that, depending on how you want to do it. So there is an added cost. But the one good thing about that is, so now I can write off 100% all those additional costs, right? So that can help work into my favor, writing those off. I've been doing some work here and there, so everything that I've been doing to fix up the building and getting for the building, I've been able to write off. So those things help, you know, because it is an additional expense and you got to pay for it, right? One of the other good things about having a shop now is for 5 years, I grinded, I networked, I got to know people here in the area. I tried to do as best work as I could for them. So now I kind of made a little bit of a name for myself. So it's not like I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs. Usually I have made a name, so I have a steady flow of business, you know? Like I said earlier, it is winter, so it's a little bit slower right now, but thankfully with some of the other companies that I work with and other shops that I contract for, I'm able to kind of spread around and work for other people as well. So I'm not totally relying on just this business alone. Thankfully, I have other shops that provide work for me as well. Now, one of the other benefits of having a standalone shop is it's not at your house, right? So you can work on things. I have so much more space, so much more room. I can actually have products delivered directly to the shop. I didn't really want to take on a lot of vinyl wrap projects because I didn't have the dedicated space at the other location where I could just take a car apart and work on that. I kind of had to shift one vehicle around to be able to have another room for one vehicle. So that was kind of annoying, but now I have areas in my shop that I could have a dedicated project going on. We did have to put the door in, so it's a 10 by 10 door, so I am kind of limited with that. Like I couldn't bring a full camper in here to work on it, but I think most box trucks or anything like that, or big 4x4 lifted trucks or something like that will fit in here just fine. So that's what's cool too, is like I said, I have a lot more space. Now, I do have 2 of my personal vehicles that do kind of stay in here, which I lucked out as well by having the space for that. I don't have to store them or sit them outside my apartment. So that works out in my favor too. And I can have the extra storage and extra space to keep those off in the corner so I don't have to really run into them as I'm running my business day to day. So that works out as well. The other thing about having a home shop compared to a standalone shop, now I can kind of set this shop up, personalize it, cater it, so when you walk in, you can kind of look around and see things. Like I do have a rim rack now with some wheels on display. I'm gonna put some vinyl rack swatches on the wall. I can keep all my stuff in one place to be able to show customers different things. I got tint shades. I'm gonna work on getting a tint display. So there's a lot of things that I can have here and show customers compared to trying to do it out of a garage where I really didn't want to set that garage up 100% dedicated for window tinting because I couldn't really do that anyways. Like I said, it was a shared garage, personal vehicles going in and out, so it was different. But I'm really excited about doing and kind of remodeling certain things to make this a nice space and a better experience for the customers. So like I said before, I will show you a little bit more of the shop in the next video. We'll kind of walk around, we'll look at it. But I love the theme of it, which my buddy came up with. The black walls, the white ceilings, the black beams. To me, it looks different than any other shop that you see around here. Now, sometimes I'm checking on Instagram and I see shops with black walls. Some people say, oh, I don't have the black wall because it absorbs up the light and stuff like that, but I absolutely love the black walls in the shop. I mean, fade to black, black walls, it just goes well, you know what I mean? So I love the way this shop feels compared to other places, because generally, I know a lot of places do want to have white walls and stuff like that, but I love the whole blacked out feel of it, the whole blacked out theme. I still want to do something on the floors, and I did just get a new light fixture that's going to be hooked up. So I think it's going to look pretty cool in here, all said and done. You know, give me some time. We'll be still working on that, but I'll kind of show you in the next video kind of what we're working with right now. I had a ladder in the back of some of my pictures because I'm hanging lights, I'm moving lights around. So we're doing other things. As you can see, I got the drywall there that's busted, so we want to be working on that soon and putting a wall there. So there's some things I want to get done. I'm excited about that because when I walk in here, it feels awesome finally after so many years of having your own personal space, your own shop you can come into. You can make it look just how you want it. When I'm in here working, I got the music playing, you know, I got the light shining through. It just feels good finally because I always dreamed of having a shop. So I'm so thankful to the people that helped me get to this point. I'm thankful for my customers that keep bringing their repeated business to me. New customers have been at the shop. They seem to love the way it looks. I like to keep it clean. I try to keep it organized as best I can, but I just love the feeling of finally, after so many years of working and busting your butt, you kind of have something to show for it, you know? I run the business myself. I do everything myself. So at times it's a lot going on, but at the end of the day, it's something that you created and it feels really good. All right, so this is the part where I told you later in the video, I want to talk about what I really want to do with this space, right? other than work out of it, other than, you know, hook my customers up, other than have a place where, you know, I can work on my own vehicles. I hope to at some point have a nice little hangout sessions. We can do like car meetups and different things here. I know some other shops, they do cruises. So when they cruise down from their shop, they can cruise over to my shop. We'll have the doors open. People can come here. We can hang out. Maybe have some certain nights where we'll have like food or something like that. People can cook out. I have a lot of plans that I would like to do. You know, just give back to people for bringing their business here and just kind of network with other shops and stuff in town. And you know, just see what we can do. Just trying to just keep the name out there. So I would love to do that. I want to try to work on that as I get things finished and as the summer comes up. That will be some things I have planned for. Another thing that I really been wanting to do, because I want to do for myself down the road, I would like to do window tint training. All right, so there seems like there's so many places out there now that are doing window tint training. For me, that's something I want to do. As I get older, I might not want to be jumping in and out of cars all the time. I would like to kind of transition my business to maybe have someone work here at some point in time so they can work on cars. I will come and help them, but I'll also like to do window tint training. So this is a perfect spot where you can have a couple of different stations set up. We can have people coming here. There's different hotels around the area where we can stay. I still have to figure that all out. I gotta write all that up. I would think it'd be like a 1 to 2 day type of training. And I would just show you guys kind of the way I do it. You know, if you've watched my channel for the last couple years, you can kind of see my steps, you can kind of see my methods. There's so many different methods and styles that you can use to install window tint. There's no one way that's right and there's no one way that's bad. You kind of got to figure out what works for you. And I know when I started watching videos on YouTube, I would watch a lot of people like Ralph and Matt and different people like that, and I would take little bits and pieces from all of them until I finally made my own style. Now, I'm pretty basic. I don't buy a lot of tools all the time. I don't keep a ton of tools. I pretty much have what I need, and I kind of found what works. So if you're a new window tinter, you're gonna experience that as well. You're gonna figure out what works for you. You're gonna figure out your methods. It just takes some time, and then after that, you're off to the races. You know, you don't think about what you're doing as much. You're not thinking about all your steps and skills. You're pretty much just doing what you have to do. Now, even though I have a shop, I will go to Freedom, Wisconsin a couple of times. I have a couple other places like KR Transport over in New Berlin. I go down there. I go over to Medford sometimes, and I also go to Green Bay. So I'm still going to certain places at different locations based on different days and different appointments that I get set up. But this is gonna be my home location. This is my base location here. I pretty much moved to Marshfield just for my kids. So now at this point, I'm out here floating in Marshfield. I'm from like 2.5, 3 hours south in Racine. So that's where I was from. Racine, Milwaukee is where I used to hang around with. So now I'm like 2 or so hours north, and I'm making the best of it, trying to be here to help raise my kids and, you know, work, you know. I've always been one of those dudes that get up every morning and we go grind, and I feel thankful at the end of the day to be able to have this opportunity. So window tint training, that will be coming at some point. I want to kind of sit down and really kind of get a focus and kind of see if I can get some people, maybe some sponsors, something to help me. If you guys have any idea and want to reach out to me as well, let me know. I mean, in my mind, I can kind of think about it. I like to kind of have, like I said, about 3 days, maybe a day of going through a lot of things, going through a lot of steps, and then, you know, at least a day and a half of hands-on as well. So I'm grateful and thankful to be in the shop. I'm looking forward to a summer coming up. Like I said, I've only been in here kind of since October-ish. I haven't really been here that long, from August since we walked in here and started checking things out. We've been doing a lot of cleaning up, a lot of put the door in, a lot of different things just to be able to use the space. So I haven't even been in here for like 4 months yet, you know? So time is going on. I'm hoping to get, you know, things situated, get the renovations done, and do some bigger things in the future. So thank you guys for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Like I said, my next video will kind of be showing you guys around the shop. And until then, man, stay faded. Thanks for watching. Peace. We'll talk to you later.